boom, 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 boom. Just a dope ass podcast. Boom, doom, 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 doom. I like how like fucking. I feel like it gets sped up every time I do this shit. Like,
Yeah,
so like a
you got
fucking so like a fucking 80s superhero flick. Pew, pew, pew,
yeah,
pew, 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 pew,
or like a
pew, pew.
nineties cartoon intro, where it's just like them running around montage type shit. Like there's no
Yeah.
words. It's just chaos on the screen introducing the character without introducing.
I think motherfuckers should use that type of model more often for like important things. Like I think I would use that like when I die, I think I would have like a montage like that to play out. Like don't play no fucking like Jesus Jesus like play a fucking I would put whatever money I have saved up by that time and I'm, a elder statesman. I'm gonna dedicate it to like fucking animators making a fucking anime or comic level fucking montage. Cause I'm already dead, bro. Y'all knew I was dead for a while. Like, cry, he can cry, but like, also it was fucking cool.
Right. Take all the footage you got from like youth to adulthood to being a parent with the kids and all types of other stuff and throw that stuff in there, but make it look cool with a little anime thing. Get a little like 80s Japanese jazz R&B type situation song going on in the background, some
Yeah,
special effect. Like make it cool, god damn it. And
yeah,
y'all quit being fucking sad.
you gotta take that shit to the, if we're gonna go up, if we're going up yonder, you know, go go in style.
Beyond. Could you make that in could you make that into like a anime intro theme? How
As
would that
much,
sound?
I'm not gonna lie, as much as I see on the Instagram and the TikTokies, because the little TikTokies got me now, man. I be scrolling through that bitch. Them motherfuckers over there be putting sounds and shit and making beats. Somebody could do it. Somebody could fucking like. I know somebody for shit show could New Orleans bounce. I'm going up yonder. So I feel like if I could just,
Oh,
yeah,
I
like
wouldn't be surprised if that hasn't been done already. I
I
would I would be surprised if nobody's done that already.
I believe, yeah, actually. Yeah, I'm like 80% sure that probably is a thing. So yeah, somebody could do that shit, make it like a whatever else. Make it fucking cool, everybody. That didn't seem tasty at all. That seemed like that didn't taste good at
Oh, I was doing drugs, so
yeah, that was
I had to
like
make sure we had a good podcast. So I wanted
yeah,
to make sure that I took all kinds of psilocybin tablets.
that looked rough. That is a fucking like fucking older elder statesman shit. I got a whole fucking pharmacy in my backpack that I be taking every day. This for
Oh,
this. Make sure your
absolutely.
fucking joints look good. And da 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 da.
Hey,
I
so
bought some
many people
fucking
ask me like, "Oh, people don't actually know my age until I tell them." Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. Like, yeah, it's because I'm making sure I get that blood work done a few times a year, and I want to make sure I'm getting all the nutrients in my body that I'm deficient in, especially because the stereotypical American lifestyle, you're gonna be deficient in some shit. So figure out what it is and help yourself look healthy. Side note, disclaimer on a serious note, yeah, y'all get y'all blood work done, not just because you out here fucking and you want to get an STD test. That's important too. Vastly important, but make sure you're getting their blood work done for all the other reasons. Find out what you're deficient in. Fellas, especially, in your mid 30s, even your early 30s for these generations and 40s and up, get your testosterone tested. I'll get all that stuff tested. Make sure your body is doing what it needs to do. Don't just think because you can fuck that your body's okay, because
yeah,
it
man.
might
You
not be okay.
you want to fuck optimally. You know what I'm saying? You want to
Absolutely.
hey, you want to F1 fucking. You street
Yeah,
race fucking. But you could be. You know what I'm saying? F1 fucking
absolutely.
elitely.
Formula fucking.
Formula fucking Daytona dicking.
Absolutely. See,
Yeah,
ass car.
yeah, nasty NASCAR and
Yes.
yeah, man, come on, man, y'all, can't believe it took that long for niggas to get into the race game. Y'all needed us. I can't, like, can't believe there's no fucking race car announcer that said that shit, and the sport is lesser for it. It needed that.
No, I think that's why it's called NASCAR now. As far as like we would add the extra S in a NASCAR for
Yeah,
ass. but for them, it's like no ass car.
which is crazy. That's now everybody act like they like ass. Everybody act like they always liked ass. He was the first
I,
time.
you know what? I'll shoot non-identifying brown folks a little bail. I think everybody has liked ass, but the spectrum of the type of ass that they like has varied up until now. Now everybody likes fatties. I don't care what race you are. There's still a degree of what people conceptualize as fatty, but everybody likes fatty. Where before people were like, man, she's got an ass that won't quit. And you see that ass and you should be like, you should quit trying to
Yeah.
tell me that she got an ass that if you don't knock it off, like ain't too much back there. But as a I won't say a connoisseur, but as an appreciator of various size shapes of cheeks, you know, foodie's been nice for a long time. From the small and round to the tiny buns to the thick biscuits, whatever you like. It's so many different variations. People have liked ass for a long time. It's just now we're getting a little bit more of a consensus around what the ass we like looks like. For the first time, we can agree on that. We can agree on ass being nice. I can also appreciate like some white dudes that like see ass and be like, "Yo, that's ass." Too much for me, but that's ass. Black people, I don't think I've ever heard black men be like, yeah, that's too much ass for me.
I think they do now, since it's like with the advent of like BBLs. Uh, I've heard that more than I've heard it before. Um, Part of it I think is like just honestly like, it's too much ass for you. Another part of it I think is like being nice for you don't want body shame or whatever, but that might not be the ass. It just might not have came out to your preference. So, you just kind of go, that's too much ass for me. When size wise it might be whatever, it just might not. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why niggas is like, salute to the heavies, healthy wise, but I've never respected like real specifications. If you look good, you look good. I've seen motherfuckers look good at 110. I done seen the motherfucker look good at 180. So, whatever. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm not going to nobody's competition. I'm not touching nobody's field. I'm in this motherfucker lifting for life. I want to have longevity in life. And I want to have a little longevity in picking them up and putting them down. So, I give a fuck how, that shit put together. I give a fuck what the scales say. Kiss my ass.
I think it's what you do with what you got. Because you can be, as you mentioned, a heavy, a plus size sister, but you still active. And like there's plenty we've looked at some women that they in the gym, they lift on a regular basis, but they're still considered, BBW, if that's the terminology you want to use. But they are active and in shape more than some of the smaller joints that don't work out at all. Like, I could respect you being a heavy that works out regularly. You're just not working out for the aesthetics of getting stronger. I mean, smaller. You want to be strong and you want to have, the thickness be firm and you want it to look good as opposed to being smaller and you're just like, I never gain weight, so I don't have to go to the gym. Like there's a mindset attached to both that one is cool mindset that I don't mind being with, and the other is a mindset that like, no, nah, I'm all right.
So so now I got an idea. There's a bit of a twofer. One, um, as you said, the mindset thing, and I saw like, I think but the algorithm, but that motherfucker is working overtime because I have seen a lot more content in regards to like the endless fucking spiral that is the gender wars conversation, but more conversations that are like geared towards, I don't know, like the responsibility of men, but in a way that like is not so blamey. It's like kind of the conversation we kind of had over the week so it's been a week since that happened, right?
Mhm.
Anyways, but and how you make your choices about partner, not necessarily in like a shit on them way, just to simply like the person you're choosing and the ways in which you go about fucking choosing them. So like it's more, have a better conversation surrounding like if you don't like somebody, you don't have to sit up here and like shit on them for like 40 fucking years. Because motherfuckers look on the internet like, look at these 20v1 balloon pop hoes, and it's like you would never talk to her anyways. Why is this making you so mad? So I that made me think about like how I've seen a few conversations in the ballpark of instead of kicking backs in, because that, you reinvent that wheel every fucking time. I'm not gonna lie, I do it when I ain't gonna talk about. I know y'all will get mad at it, so I just keep saying it. But in general, you can frame the conversation as what are your standards for how you say choose a partner, and I'm becoming a fan of that. It makes the conversation just less everybody shitting on each other, but more of a what is it you need and explore that as far as we did wrap up mental health month with mental health awareness month, but for niggas to be like, hey man, like instead of just saying big ass big titties and to treat me nice, we've said that when everybody had to sit in the house during the pandemic, so we 5 years into everybody figuring out that they got emotions, so now you can kind of explore like things that matter. Like you go to work, you work out, but working out is something that I think motherfuckers are figuring out to put language to because it's like she is determined. Hey man, get your nipples hard, doesn't it? She's determined. She's got an idea about herself. She's got opinions. She's smart. Like these are things that you want to part. Like the thing that besides just my honor bound duty, the thing that get a motherfucker out the club at 1:45 a.m. with his homies. Obviously, man, don't be out there, fucking around. Be poly, be figure out a different dynamic. But what gets you out the house is what gets you back in the house is going, hey, I fuck with this motherfucker, and I want to tell them things because when I tell them things, they respond back with things that I enjoy, and those are other deeper fucking things. So I'm a fan that these. I ain't gonna give them too much credit, but a couple conversations I've seen are kind of bending the corner on. All right, man, we didn't tell everybody they piece of shit enough. Let's push this, let's progress this conversation a bit to what makes these things better out besides just saying a woman or man of God or whatever the fuck y'all are.
Yeah, if that's gonna be an easy turn off for me, you say that, I'm done. But anywho, um, I normally, even in casual conversation, like I say, for example, yesterday, I went to a friend's birthday party. Um, got there early, helped them sit up, do a little mingling, talking to people, this, that, and the other, blah, blah. And one thing that has come up a lot that we talked about in the circle last week, shout out to the circle for having us and have facilitating a good conversation between both genders of all our different identities and sexualities to be able to just have a conversation. But I brought it up there as far as the intentionality part. People like, oh, I'm trying to be more intentional. And I'm that's that I immediately I'm going after it because I have a personal trigger towards that
Ooh.
performative ass language, which means you have talked about off air because of my personal experiences over the last couple of years. But in general, I see so many people doing the Instagram stuff of using the language, but not necessarily understanding or having a definition for the language that they use.
Mm-hmm.
So even in casual conversations or conversations in dating, people will say stuff like that, like, "Oh, I'm trying to be intentional about dating," and I immediately like, "What is your definition of intention?" Because people say the shit because it sounds good. It makes them, especially lady folk, it makes them sound more virtuous and worthy than all the other women. And it's like that sounds cool, but it's performative language. What is your actual definition of intentionality? How do you see it? What does it look like? What's the purpose behind it? The same thing when it comes to dating in general. Like people are like, so are you single? Like one girl asked me, she's like, "Are you single?" And I was like, "What's your definition of single?" Like jokingly, but still, like for real, what's your definition of single? Because everybody's definition is different. But it catches people off guard when I ask them type of things like, "What does this mean to you? What is your definition of this?" So that we can understand whether or not we're talking the same language, or if we have the same interpretation, or if we're in the same ballpark, or if we're not in the same ballpark. Are we receptive to each other's definitions? Is there going to be a space or time where we co-create a definition together for whatever our interaction is going to be? Like those are the conversations that we need to have to progress things forward. We can highlight the negatives and shit in each other all day long. We can pick at each other all day long. But can we get to a point where we can start to have a collaborative conversation as opposed to one that's jockeying for position?
That's valid. I think, yeah, I think and this made me think about a conversation I had with in supervision this week. Therapist talk, supervision.
Yeah,
Um,
supervision. Yeah.
and I didn't bring up the circle, so to speak. I just kind of framed it as like a conversation, but it was like the idea of speaking of like the language and kind of how I guess all of our experiences, and I don't know, I never thought about that until like that conversation about how our experiences working in this field greatly influences like how we interact with the public and
Mhm.
and with each other, and specifically us who have worked in agencies, if anybody just your first time here or whatever, like you work with DCFS, you work with probation, you work in like the muck, you know what I'm saying? So the I guess consequences of that work kind of makes you have to bypass the online like therapy talk experience because like motherfucker, if we don't figure like you have the urgency of sometimes like yes, I want us to do the work, but also there's a lot of I guess I would put like an air of solution focused, always rumbling around. Because if we don't figure this out, motherfucker, like you don't get placed. If we don't figure this out, motherfucker, you go back in. If we don't figure this out, you lose your kids. Like there's always that type of. So I don't have sometimes the freedom to just go, oh my God, how is that? It's like, okay, you got a couple how is that's, and then I'm finna start chopping this shit away. Like I'm gonna just deal with you being uncomfortable because if I don't fucking get like the urgency of we have to, your life is kind of the the betterment of it is kind of on the line here a little bit. Like that urgency kind of comes with it. So like taking that into some of these conversations, I realize like is why some of this shit bugs me because I'd be like even with that, I think our frustration would say, for example, the intentional shit. Because my first thought is like, hey man, like not to be whatever, but like I have, for lack of a better word, like I've counseled a hustler, and I don't want a motherfucker trying to hustle me. What like you do you mean? Because like you say, everything is intentional. But if you want this nigga to just bathe you with attention, I feel like we would be better saying that. I don't even knock you for that. I just feel like that greatly influences how we go about these interactions, and also it greatly influences how the fuck I got to talk to you. Because I ain't finna sit up here and talk to you about intention and how the relationship works. If you just tell me you want a nigga to give you some attention, we can work from there. And if that's what you want to do, cool. And same with you, my boy. Like if you want some booty ass, then we work with how you get you some booty ass. If you say you want real partnership and real connection, then these are the requirements to kind of make this balanced interaction. And I feel that's one of my biggest, I guess, if when I'm trying to be like a serious, this is for the betterment of the community person. I'm like, well, this conversation is null and void because these two motherfuckers are not saying that. I can't read minds, but like that motherfucker said intention. But all she really means is I want you to like run the script. And the script is bullshit. The script is oh, not a call. Whoa, where's the zoom at? I'm
Oh,
not changing.
enters.
I'm not changing shit, you guys. I'm keeping all that in. So if the call came in, love is love. But but like yeah, and when I was having that conversation with my with my supervisor, it was that energy of like, all right, man, we got to gut punch some of this shit out the way. Like my propensity to just, hey, man, I got a hammer. Everybody like chiseling and trying to find the right thing to push this thing to open the secret door. I'll be like, hey, man, I got some dynamite because we could blow this shit up because it's not helpful.
No, not at all. That's the awareness piece. Because in order to recognize that and be able to be transparent, that's what I shared in the circle, and that's kind of what I've shared in everybody, like literally anybody that says intentional, I'll be on their ass. And but I give it a disclaimer. I let them know, like, yeah, I have a funny but also personal bias towards attention, and so that's why I'm going to explore this, and not to therapize anybody, but it's like, no, I want to have what you would call an intentional conversation with you. So I'm going to ask your definition of intentionality because I have a different perspective. But that's my self awareness. that I can communicate to you that I'm aware of myself and why I'm inquiring about these things and tell you my boundaries or my perspective or my bias or whatever the case is. And also be aware enough to ask you about yours because that's where the bridge is. A lot of people ain't really aware about they shit. They're aware of what they want or what they think they want, but they're not aware of why they want it. So that's where the performative language or the performative shit comes into play because you ain't really aware. You're intentionally unaware, which is funny to me. And I kind of laughed that shit off, but I think the awareness is more important than anything. How aware are you of yourself to even be honest to say, hey, I just want attention? Because as much as I can't stand somebody that's looking for attention. Again, we've had this conversation off air the last couple of years because of my own personal struggles being transparent. Y'all can't stand. Never mind. Anywho, uh, when you are doing shit seeking for attention, I can't stand it, but I can respect it if you're like, no, I just would like attention in these areas around these things. I actually this it'll soften you up a little bit to be like, I can respect that. And maybe I can meet you where you are in that regard. I may not go to the extent that you would like me to, but I don't mind giving you some of the attention that you're looking for simply because you were open and honest and aware of yourself enough to say that this is what I'm looking for. And I can decide what variation of that I want to contribute to this interaction. It makes it so much easier when you can just say what you want. But the flip side to that, at least in my mind in this moment, that also means you kind of gotta like shoot your shot, which we know a lot of folks, the lady folks, don't want to do. Like if you're gonna be intentional, partly why I had that discussion yesterday at the friends' party is because the girl was like, "Yeah, when you came in, I saw you, so it was." I told myself I got to see what's up with you. I don't. I just want to have a conversation with you, see where your head at, talk to you, get to know you, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Ain't said a word to her. She just like, I saw you, made eye contact, I nodded, I said hello, I introduced myself. But she wanted to like, no, I told myself before I leave, I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to see what's up. I want to talk to you. I want to get your number and whatever comes from it, comes from it. But it's like, cool. You never know what you miss because you don't shoot your shot. But that self-awareness, that's you being intentional and being able to be vulnerable, people don't realize how much goes into just initiating conversation with another person that's not the performative script, as you said.
Yeah, I think for one, no, this sounds, not it's not super deep or fucking. It's very, I think, unless you just like. Now I'm not saying every nigga finna go, but if it's 10 niggas at the fucking thing, I remember we used to say this shit in college. Like if you wanted to just really be honest, and you wanted, I don't know, like five numbers, you would have to talk to 20 women. On the flip, if you just say I want some attention, or you was like I honestly shot your shot, it's 10 niggas in the room. You're gonna leave 50%. You're gonna get like, just at least unless until, you get however many years from now, if that became a regular practice, it might balance out. But as of now, you're gonna get like some, you might not get, said nigga you want or whatever, but or the, I don't know, the main nigga in the room or however that works. But I think the issue with some of that like awareness shit is like you said, motherfuckers will be aware, somewhat aware of their issue. But I think, I don't know, man, where like the awareness shit stops is where you have to be accountable, responsible, that just because you're aware of it and you go, hey, I want attention, you have to, I guess you have to pay the cost. And I think that's the thing that like somehow gets a little lost in some of these like conversations, is that you can't get none of this shit without a cost. And if you want to pay or not pay said cost, that kind of determines your fucking trajectory in these things. If you want to be Captain Honest and say, I want some booty ass, and you can be charming, you can be funny, you can be whatever. If she don't want to go, nigga, then you'll lose out. Like you were honest, you on the back end, you lose out on some of that drama of being a nigga who's got game and is lying with his behavior and stuff. There's a give and take of all of it. So on the front end, you go, hey man, like I'm just kind of want to be casual and frivolous. Fuck no, you intentional with me or nothing. Cool. But on the back end, you lose out on probably potentially like a lot of the unnecessary drama. Dog who bags it in the front end, being hella attention seeking or whatever. You start fucking your roommate, and everybody got drama. On the flip side, if you want to be, I guess, Miss Intentional Woman, there's a cost for either side. If you want attention, cool. Like I'll give you attention, but you probably might lose out on deep connection because in order to have that, you have to be as giving in love as you would require dog to be. Like if you want that type of lovey-dovey attention, then you would have to give that lovey-dovey attention in a way that I don't know, whatever this nigga likes. Like, oh my God, I want you to bring me 50 roses a day or whatever the fuck you motherfuckers be posting. Then bitch, I don't know, man. You might have to sit with that nigga in the shop while he talks about transmissions and fucking body kits. Like you might have to be fucking Letty now. If you don't want to be Letty, then you fucking you should leave that motherfucker alone.
Get out the way so Letty can appear. Because that's some of the same shit that they say. Get out the way so the right man in my life. And but even that statement is like everything is supposed to come to me. I'm not supposed to do anything, which is silly.
Yeah, everybody works under the assumption that they're a finished product and that the work, I don't know, like the work always is framed as like walks on the beach, meadows, yoga classes. Those things are cool, but like some of that shit is just, in my experience, it's just a staunch ass kicking to your, mindset, your regular degular operating system. Like that operating system is what got you here. You know what I'm saying? And if you want a different experience, you're gonna have to run that motherfucker a different way. Whatever that looks like for you and your fucking goals. I'm aware that I'm like that's usually what it looks like when motherfuckers stop. I'm aware that I'm a lot. I'm aware that I'm too much, or I'm aware that I'm aware that I don't talk, that I don't communicate as much. I'm aware of that. All right, now step two is being aware of why you even start doing that in the first place, and that's gonna get uncomfortable. Then the real uncomfortable part is when you find out, whatever, I'll give everybody their favorite terms, whatever mother wound or father wound or past experience or accumulation of multiple experiences at once. Yeah, that's where that came from. Now we're gonna have to fucking process and work through what to let go, what to learn from, and on the other side of that, you a whole new motherfucker. And you better the devil you know than the devil you don't. You be scared to be that motherfucker. Like I like, you are used to whoever this motherfucker is right now, good, bad, indifferent. You're used to it. You got all the excuses built in for why this motherfucker acts this way. You got all the cool quotes to justify this one the bullshit behavior. On the other side of that, that motherfucker that is way deep in the back of the mirror, it's a whole new motherfucker. Might not like none of the shit you doing now. That sucks.
Not at all. Multiple parts. Firstly, jokingly but serious, is misintentional the new misindependent? Similar mindset but different approach or different framework. I'm independent. I can do it. Oh, I'm intentional about to me the same mannerisms, the same speech, the same whatever. It's just a
I
different
think
avenue. Do we need to get Neo and Webby to come out here and do they new variations of misintentional as opposed to misindependent?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't need either one of them niggas anywhere near any of these conversations. Neither one of them do I want anywhere near. Good music, keep doing that. I don't need them niggas outside the studio doing nothing. Um, I think definitely like different both Miss Eyes are I don't know, like different villains. Like you ever like watch like you read one of those there's a bunch of which is crazy because I really wish they would have fucking made that make sense. There's a couple stories where you see like Doctor Doom and Kang, both villains, different villains, going about villainy different ways. So if we're looking at like just destruction, like and overall evil, I would say evil's strong. But I think both Miss Eyes, independent and intentional. I think they go about something. I think they go about it the different ways. But I think that the the through line is like I don't know, man, maybe like confidence and self-worth being masking arrogance and insecurity and fear and shit. And it's the same shit for niggas. Like I don't know what the nigga terms is. But yeah, it's like ways to put a checklist of like this is what you need to enter my life and not necessarily seeing if like you are one to give those things. So
Mhm.
that creates a barrier of fucking how you go about relationship and I don't know, interaction with others. Because a lot of times you see them motherfuckers, fuck niggas in relationships. You see Miss Independent and Miss Intentional. Yeah,
Mhm.
you watch enough fucking. I just like it's every now and again you start paying attention to these motherfuckers that I can only go off of like some people I know like personally and like a couple celebrities here and there. So my sample size is whatever, but it ain't even got to be fucking relationships. You see, some, Christmas time come around, these motherfuckers crashing out with their moms, they crashing out with their dads. All of y'all was best friends 6 months ago. That one trip to Tulum, and now it's fuck that bitch. Y'all unfollow each other. Like, what the fuck? Where the you shit you? It's a lot of motherfucking places here. It ain't just niggas, boy. Like, what the fuck is going on?
So, is it safe to say that neither of those are the flex that people think they are? Like, I've had people say that. I already expressed the intentional side, but I've also heard over the years and recently people expressing, I'm independent. And, not to be Captain Pessimist or, you know, it is that deep, but it's like, you flexing being an adult, you're supposed to be independent. Like that's not really a flex when you think about it. You're supposed to be independent, especially if you're looking to co-create with someone else. Like we both should be independent in some regards, so that way we can progress things together further than where we are independently. So you saying that you independent is not a flex. If a man tells you like, yeah, I'm independent with wine, you just look like, okay, nigga. But the double standard is if a woman says, "Oh, I'm independent," it's like, "Oh yeah, she independent. She's supposed to. We're adults."
Yeah, I think it's when people conflate, like. I don't know, like they conflate a lot of these issues. Like context matters. Like you being
Mhm.
an independent woman, um, in context of like the experience of women in America. Like if you throw on like, feminism and y'all wasn't you like human beings who could vote until like sometime, what was that in the 60s? Like cool. That's a perfect like that makes perfect sense. You are a full-fledged fucking adult. But if we say a lot of these things and it doesn't take into account like black people's experience and like what that shit really look like. Every day you look online and it's a motherfucker who's a well-versed scholar or just, somebody who woke up one day and found, I think a lot of shit happened during the pandemic for sure, but found a hobby during the pandemic. They're like, I want to look up history. And they just give us fucking Snapple facts every other day. And you just go like, hey man, like it's always been this. Like I'll scream this shit from the high heavens. My granny went to work, both of them, like both of my grandfathers like had jobs, like carrying on these ideals of what we were supposed to do, and it ain't never looked that way. Like it's never been that. So of course you're independent because we've always been a people who was like, yeah, everybody has their independent job to build said community, whatever the fuck your community look like. That's the game. Like you do your shit, I do my shit. We come here and we pull this shit together to make it look good, to make it work, to make it look, not even look. Look is not the right word. Like make it function. Like oh yeah, so like it's a weird thing to talk about. The more that you like, I don't know, gain some fucking understanding. Everybody and their mom talking about the books they read and to go like I'm Miss Independent, Miss whatever. Like to see somebody go like I'm Miss Independent, Miss Intentional, Mr. Provider, Mr. Whatever. And then they be posting like I don't fucking know, like y'all was on a tear of like saying shit like that and then we'll post bell hooks after. And I was what the fuck were we all reading? Like were we reading the same book?
They are misinformed. That's what it actually is. But I think shifting it a little culturally, since we're going to put the mental health spin to it, because all of this is a mindset and how it shows up in our behaviors. I think part of that is the trauma response that our culture has to deal with here, just historically. Because when you think about community, I understand my purpose and my ability and how that can fit into or benefit my community, my society, my family, my whatever. Because we've done so much, I have to make sure that I have to survive. We've reframed it to a degree into a positive, saying that, oh, I'm independent, I can handle this. I like it's very I centered because we don't have a strong sense of community sometimes. When you go to parts where there's different cultures or different areas, different states, different cities, or whatever, where people have a strong sense of community and they are connected to their community, you don't hear a lot of independent conversation because we're all trying to be interdependent. We can acknowledge, yeah, I can handle this on my own, but I also struggle with this. But I got this person over here that can help me with that, and they're really good with that. And I like leaning on them because they support me in these areas, and these people over here support me in these areas. And I'm glad that I get to support these people over here. Like the independence or self-centered conversation disappears the more that people are connected to, rooted in an understanding of community.
Yeah, I don't I see this conversation a lot as far as like just black like politics and social whatever. But the more sometimes the conversations happen, and I ain't saying it's like somebody who's like at on the top of the deck, fucking as a captain of the boat or whatever, but it always starts to feel like everybody can't get on the boat ish.
Mhm.
Because it's like, you want to have better discourse. And I'm at this point, I be saying this shit just looking at I've done I've done a good amount, and I'm gonna continue because y'all say stupid shit every day of like lady back kicking in about these topics. But shit, even it's some of these conversations where it's like I don't even like with niggas. Like I'm like, I don't even know how to fucking not even bail y'all out, but like the mental fortitude it takes to be super understanding of these point of views. I
Mhm.
don't know that I want to have it. Like I still like you still see niggas online having like d Diddy discourse, and it's like, bro, I don't. Again, I just don't care. Like if we knock down all these, if this nigga did three of the things he talked, if he did one of these things, that's enough for me to not fuck with dog. Like, what are y'all trying to blend um the plight of the black man to Sean Combs is goofy, and then motherfuckers is in like I figured out this week how to wow I sound like a fucking grandfather. I figured out this week how to access like TikTok lives, like how to just sit there and listen to them because I used to just like scroll them, and if you don't like click on them, they'll like your phone will close, like it's just looking at a thing. Either way, I listened to like two or three, and one was just regular political shit, and I was like, okay, we're cool with this. Like, it was a lot of fuck Trump and learn a lot of stuff about certain things that are passing. Be inspire me to be a little more active about what's going on because they're passing things like the big beautiful bill and ruining fucking lives. But it's crazy to see how much that shit goes over niggas' heads because niggas is grown niggas is 20, 30, 40. Some motherfuckers was over 40. I saw some full gray beards in some of these things and are sitting there like yelling down about the Diddy case and like carrying these thoughts over into like their relationships. And I was like, I don't even know remotely how to salvage a nigga like that. Like I don't know how to. I mean, you have to want to. If somebody's let me back up. If somebody's desiring of the fucking change, you can do a lot of work. But it makes a lot of these things like, oh, this shit is fucking hell on earth outside. Like every time I go on the internet, I realize like I'm how far removed I am from certain things. I was like, I've never had this conversation with a motherfucker before. Like I've never really, I don't meet this guy. I don't surround myself with those type of guys, but them niggas exist. Even like, but them niggas exist. And like, I think we mentioned last pod, like how the fucking Deontay Kyle thing blew up about saying that men need to be accountable for other men. And the group of logic just do what I did. Like you can go listen. It was 1 hour, a 1 hour conversation. If you gave a motherfucker that insight, that not even that insight, that interest that I want to know what the fuck they talking about, It's fucking nuts. Like like the whole way these conversations, the people were having them is fucking ape shit. Cause I was like, y'all didn't watch this shit. Cause if a nigga watched this shit, we would we wouldn't have these conversations, and y'all wouldn't be arguing from. I don't even know what space y'all arguing from at some point. I used to be really good at like pinpointing. Ah, you must be coming from this point of view. Some of you motherfuckers, boy, shit, man. Fuck are we
I
talking about?
mean, I think that kind of how I'm seeing it, and seeing that I won't say the opposite, but I'll play the opposite end of the spectrum, I guess. How to save them or how to get them to be able to qualify to be on said boat as opposed to leaving them on shore.
Man,
We have to do a lot of reframing in therapy, right? Like you reframe perspectives, narratives, mindsets, etc. See how you're approaching this. And as opposed to smacking you upside your head and saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's not how you're supposed to see it. You have to say, well, no, I see this perspective. Let's take that. And if we flip it just a little bit, you see how this, that, and the other, blah, 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 like helping them reframe the conversation. Because I think the conversations are good. I just think how we're having them isn't. Can we have a conversation at any age about the Diddy case? Yeah, but what part of the case are you focusing on? How are you having the conversation? Can you have that conversation to talk about sex trafficking or things of that nature and like how
no.
you feel about it or how to have conversations around it or how to address it in the industry if you're a creative, or how to talk to your children at a young age about not getting into certain things or watching out for certain narratives or lifestyles or whatever to keep them from being sex trafficked. Like there's so many different ways that you could actually have healthy conversations about pop culture narratives. We just like the bullshit. We like the tea. We don't want the actual conversation. We just want to be engulfed in the drama. And I think that's the issue. So if we can reframe not the conversation or redirect you away from having the conversation, but reframe how we start to have these conversations, I think that'll work because at the meat of it, even if you take the most toxic BS stereotypical platform that talks about these things, they'll have at least a couple minutes of sobriety where they have a serious conversation about these things. It's just a matter of how long they stay in those topics. So I'll say everybody is savable. It's just a matter of how we reframe them and how long it takes them for them to understand the reframe. You may not be able to get on the boat this time. You may have to wait until that motherfucker come back around later on. Like you ain't your ticket was not validated to get on this trip, but we gonna keep you on the waiting list, and you might be able to get on the next round or the round after that. We just, there's a vetting process we got to go through, and you just did barely didn't qualify. Sorry, but I think that also kind of goes to the clip I shared with you earlier this week. I forgot the dude's name. I'll have to look it up. But the comedian talking about how much research he did to see like what country we can go to in Africa.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and some of us can't go, some of us can go.
God
I
damn.
don't, I don't want to give him his props on that, but I'll pull it up in a second. But yeah, him expressing like, yeah, if it's 45 million of us here in America, we have to factor in that not everybody's gonna go. Some of you motherfuckers is gonna stay here, or some of you may choose to stay here. Some of you may have to stay here because you gonna derail the whole situation. Like there's aspects to it, but we have to, at least for us in our field, but even us as a community, we have to be inclusive of people having growth. We can't just say, you stuck here.
Yeah, I think people have to have, oh, here's another favorite buzzword. Everybody gotta have their discernment. I think
Hmm.
um I think that's one thing that like because even outside of us, I was one of my little like things I've been doing lately. I don't know how they got my oh yeah, I know they got my algorithm. Looking at some of this political shit, you end up on fucking like what's that page like that Jubilee shit, and they have like one
Hmm.
fucking such and such verse 20. To be honest, I don't necessarily feel like that's like the best framework for like good conversations, and it makes me think of like sometimes how a lot of the conversations happen in like a bit in the black space because everybody's not the goal of these conversations a lot of times is not to progress the topic or conversation. It's like Fuck that guy. I've seen clips of this son of a bitch, and I'm here to just ether him and call him dumb. Which it was I forget the other nigga name, but Umar was on this other podcast, and I've seen him talk to this guy before. And Umar made a good point. He was talking about the Mark Lamont Hill thing where he crashed out on Pierce Morgan and discussing like the benefit of having some of these conversations with people who aren't movable. While I give people like space to obviously grow and progress, I think that some of these conversations can be a little more harmful than good, depending on like, I guess, yeah, I guess depending on what everybody's goal is. If my goal is to move the conversation forward, and find common ground and find spaces for everybody to grow and do better. I don't know that I'm gonna have a conversation with David Duke. Might have a conversation with like I don't know Andrew Schultz, like some of those like mid like total line white people who like you being I want to see both sides. You might have some like sneaky racism, or you might not really know what's going on. Cool, I might have a conversation with you. There's no way, there's nothing I need to discuss with David Duke or anything like that about. Like we know where you stand, big dog. We go ahead and call it a day. And I think sometimes motherfuckers be having these like relationship shits. It's like word to the circle or whatever. Soon as you start talking to me, like, what do you think about 20V, blah 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 blah. I don't, man. I don't think nothing about that shit. And I'm now, I don't know where we finna necessarily go from here. I'm not Reed Richards. I'm not T'Challa. I'm not a raging genius, but I know I don't got no real thoughts about that. I think that shit is a plague. If you come to me and we wanna, if the nigga talk about, man, you seen them hoes on Zeus? No, dog. I didn't. I don't. Like that doesn't shape my opinion about but we complaining about two different motherfuckers. You were complaining about, Zeus Shorty who like threw a fucking Don Julio bottle at your fucking car. I'm complaining about a pre-law student who is emotionally dysregulated. They not everybody got their journey, but I'm trying to. Who the fuck? I don't know I don't know what you talk about. I'm not having that. I'll call the police, nigga. Like I'm a civilian. I don't want to have that fucking issue. So yeah, I don't know. I try not to like put no fucking like elitist angle on this shit or whatever. But like it just some of these motherfuckers is not it's not helpful in certain shit. So I'm like, yeah, like I watched this and I laughed at it, but I didn't let this like adjust my opinion about black people, black women, black men, because that motherfucker's a goof. So what are we
Yeah,
talking
that's where the opposite end of the individual part should come into play. Like I can look at this individual or these groups of individuals as being separate from the collective, as opposed to looking at those individual cases and letting that shape my narrative for an entire group. That goes back to what you said as far as discernment is concerned. Are we not concerned about being discerned is a question we got to ask ourselves and our community.
about? The
Because,
motherfucking
we
album.
struggling.
That boy
Yeah,
rhyming.
just a little bit, just a little seasoning. I've heard as of late that I'm pretty good with words sometimes. So.
We'll be talking to people. Like back to well, real quick, back to that thing you said about like the working out and ladies and being strong and being in shape. Does it matter?
Yes.
Fair. All right. Because I was thinking about this. I thought not lately, but it made me think because I had this conversation maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I thought to bring it on the pod, and I forgot. Like now, you love who you love, and everybody's not, put to by some certain standard. Blah blah blah. Check all the boxes. Do you care if your lady could whoop a little ass? Because it seemed like, anytime people talk about relationships, I want a man in shape. I want to decide the third. And that's also under the guise that you kick a little ass. You want to be able to kick everybody ass. You kick a little ass. And I thought about, because I was on one of these pages and that is a little guilty pleasure. I will watch a little fight page. A little fight page will derail me for about like 2, 3 minutes. I'm not going to hold you. And it was some of the fighting thing. And it was like a couple lady fights. And I was like, God, that hair pulling whoop de whoop shit, like that's not really good form. I'm not no professional fighter, but that's not. And I thought about it, man. I was like, damn, like what? Because personally, I've in that regard, I've picked pretty well. in my I got a decent fuck history, but like I got a I got a fair to middling relationship history, but they've been some zingers, and I'm okay with that. And I realize that's a thing. Like I would like to. It's a little less stressful on my life that you can handle yourself. At least do we get the fuck about this, whatever. And I thought about like, man, what do you do if your lady just get her motherfucking hat brought to her? And you got to be like, are niggas allowed to feel that love, like the same embarrassment that women act like they feel if they nigga get beat up? Like you out, you know what I'm saying? And she just get her motherfucking just go 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 go, like the beats on her. What does that look like? How many niggas experience that?
I think it depends on how you lose. If you, I can look at two people and be like, hey, low key, she got hands. You got your ass whooped. Like it is what it is. Ain't no shame in that. Everybody ain't gonna win every fight. Somebody gotta lose.
Hmm.
Like at best, we have a tie where it's just like, yeah, we throwing them. Ain't nobody get knocked out. Ain't nobody really get beat up one sidedly, and then it got broken up, and we pieced it up and went about our business. Like that's probably best case scenario. But on average, one person is going to lose. Whether we lose because we got knocked out, we got beat up, or we lose because we both end up looking stupid. So we fighting and arguing, and then we start throwing them, and people look at both of us like neither one of y'all could fight. This is sad. Like you still lost, even if you ain't get your ass beat. But if you lose a fight in some capacity and you were the antagonist, yeah, I'm gonna look at you a little certain kind of way. For certain, you was talking all that jazz, and then you get your ass whooped. Yeah, I'm gonna look at you a particular way. If it was just a misunderstanding or just an altercation that popped up, or you just found yourself in it and you got overwhelmed, that can happen to anybody. So I might shoot you a little bit of bail. If you just got jumped, like you wasn't really trying to be confrontational, and this person is just overly aggressive, and you found yourself in a fight and you got beat up, and that's not even what you was trying to do, I can't fault you for that either. But I think it's how it happens as opposed to if it happens. But I kind of look at that to a degree as far as something happening and you look at them differently, kind of like in the gym, like you see the fine girl in the gym and you see her actual start lifting and you be like, her form is trash, she's not really pushing it, she's taking more pictures than she is actually focusing on form, she ain't really sweating for real. Yeah, I'm gonna look at you a certain way, like you lose points with me.
Hmm.
I'm gonna look at you a certain kind of way. So I think that not just for fighting but in general, not to say you got to be perfect, but I, me, DC as an individual, right? I need you to know how to be able to do shit. I don't want. We've talked about this before to a degree off air, and for lack of a better word, so bear with me to those that may be more sensitive with what I'm saying. But I don't want no weak ass woman because I know she don't want no weak ass man. Am I gonna be out here and be George St. Pierre in this bitch when I start fighting? Not necessarily, but I'm gonna have a little bit of wherewithal to keep shit crispy. I know I'm gonna work out a little bit. Am I gonna be, fucking high green out here on the weights? No. But everything that I do it because there's an intention behind it as far as being able to move my body and do things functionally out in the real world. So for certain shit, if you can't do it, to me, you can't be functional in certain situations. If you out here hair pulling and windmilling and shit, and you was talking big about fighting, if something happens with our children, are you gonna be able
Man,
to save our children by pulling hair and windmilling? No, but that's the same way that you're gonna look at me. So I look at it from an equal standpoint. If I get into a fight and I just kick niggas in the nuts like Bobby Hill out this bitch and swinging my let go of my purse, I don't know you. You gonna judge me a little bit differently because, hey, if it were this type of situation, I would like my partner to be able to do X, Y, and Z. So the same way that you're going to judge and scrutinize me for having certain abilities, I'm an equal opportunist. I would like you to be able to do the same thing. So I'm gonna judge you a little bit based off your ability, but I also will give grace depending on the circumstance.
I rock with that. I don't really have too much to add to that because I've noticed that in myself. Like, yeah, I don't need you to be fucking I don't need to be Pap, I don't need you to be able to fucking just be a world trained fighter. But yeah, I do think about that. I think about that definitely from like you said, like from a children's space. And yeah, like just can I especially if I'm putting on the fucking relationship hat, you worry about everybody you love, like how they go out in the world. And it's like, do I expect you to be able to knock down like me or you? Fuck no. But I would like to be able to like have some fucking non-worry when you go out in the world that it's like, man, hope nobody just walks up with a fucking van and abducts her or some shit because this motherfucker just is moving goofy in the world. So yeah. Uh
I think we have to look at that more as men that doesn't get talked about, or we either settle or overlook it. Because that's a level of safety for us that we got to pay attention to. Like the more stuff you can't do, the more helpless you are in certain situations. That's more shit I gotta do, and that's either gonna drain my capacity or put me in danger in some shape, form, or fashion, or it's gonna get me killed faster. So I would like you to be able to do certain things. That way, I can decrease how much my health bar is gonna be dropping in certain situations.
Hey, look, man. I don't have no other sexy way to put it. I feel like we are whatever year this pod is at this point. It's a couple of them. I don't know no other way to tell y'all that I don't. A red pill nigga can't say shit to me. I don't got nothing. I have no desire in the princess, whatever the fuck. At this point, I don't even know if I want a queen. I would like a warlord with titties. And we could just, yeah, we could figure that shit out together, boy. Like, you want
Hey, they had women on Gears of War.
listen here. When I look at what's that fucking shit? You watch what the fuck is that? You watch Warcraft movie or whatever. Make
Mhm.
me an ogre, boy. And I want the big green ogre nigga, and I want a big green ogre woman. I would like a Warhammer. She get an axe or a sword or some shit. We look real cool back to back. And let's figure this shit the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knock out a squad, you knock out a squad, toss me that baby so you can do a fucking leap and fuck all that other shit. Cause yeah, like you said, like I don't understand it. Like I hear what everybody be saying, and I'm never gonna stop anybody from doing what works for them. You know what I'm saying? If we're doing some couples work, I'ma always help y'all surround that shit the way you like it and what works for y'all. But for this big, bald, beautiful motherfucker right here, we gonna have to figure this shit the fuck out, boy. You know what I'm saying? I would like y'all to do a little bit more Googles. I think, you know what I'm saying? I looked up a couple of just different gigs. Just I see the trajectory of where we can go. I see like my financial future. None of it says that I'm finna be pulling like 7 million a year, but I'll be okay, right? And I just can't understand the logic of like if I'm okay and then she's doing something that she's okay, we both don't have to work ourselves to death. I can grab this motherfucker to drop that motherfucker off in the morning. You could pick him up, vice versa. I know I've said this rhetoric before to you guys. It don't make no other it doesn't make sense any other way. Also seen a couple things and I'm gonna find them, repost them. But like I used the way y'all talk, I thought it was like you would think a motherfucker is like unique for doing. We bought a house, I grabbed the mortgage, such and such. She grabs the bills. It's not that unique, guys. That's how people are maneuvering. We are, and I'll throw a little bit of responsibility to us for what we talk about or whatever. But that shit is not normal, which y'all be liking. There is nobody. There is Hey, yo, it's the NBA, the NFL, and the tip top selling artists that are moving like that. Nobody else, nigga. It's
And they're divorced more than everybody else,
yeah,
also.
it's 176 people nationally moving like y'all move like y'all. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no thanks. I mean, it sparks the thought in me that I've been having a lot this month, but just in general in different situations. the statement that I've had in my mind is like, damn, you always need help. And I don't mean that in a bad way, as far as like help is something that you're not supposed to need, because we all need help. So I don't want to make it seem like needing help is a bad thing entirely. But I factor that in kind of like I factor in the fighting shit, the lifting shit, the all these other things. Like you said, if I'm okay in my career and she's okay, and that's kind of what made me remind myself of this thought, like, no, there's a lot that aren't okay, and that's not okay. Not that it's not okay to be not okay. Um, but over here, if you're trying to get to a certain point, I always gotta save you. Like you always come to me with some sort of crisis or conundrum, or you need helping and saving. I don't have the interest in a damsel. So, like you mentioned, I don't want no princess shit. I don't even know if I want a queen. I don't want a damsel. I don't want nobody that always needs saving or talking off the ledge because you going through things. But I say the same thing when it comes to any other relationships. I know the conversations we have are geared towards intimate relationships on a regular basis, but all this shit applies across the board in any type of relationship. If it was my goddamn mama and she always needed help or saving or was helpless, I'd have the same boundaries with her, love her to death, but it is going to be what it is. And I know some people, I have some friends that have that relationship with their parents because their parents are always the damsel because they're lacking accountability or whatever the case is. I don't want that in my life. So if you always need help, you always need saving, you always got a crisis, and everything is just oh my, I guess I can't. Come on, man. That you taking checks off the board. I'm not even sitting nowhere near the board. You wiping them off yourself, and I'm just watching you decrease your point percentage with me because you expect me to think that that's okay. Then I'm gonna step in and just put all that on my back and supposed to be okay with it. No, that's not okay. I need you to be okay, just like I'm okay. Just like when I have a moment where I'm not okay, I know that you got me, and vice versa.
Yeah, not to sound repetitive, I just, as much as we joke and fucking, and I'm gonna continue to say jokes on here. This is my free space. I work Monday to Friday. Here I fuck around. But yeah, I don't support that shit, and I don't support Nick. That's one of my things that like. And I've actually like I guess broached that a little bit in actual like work. So maybe I lied a little bit back there. But of exploring like where that comes from to feel like you do have to step in so that you are valued by others. And that's just, that's not a fucking healthy space to be in, my boy. And I'm not saying, you don't help others out. But that's one thing that these dynamics really fuck everybody up in, is that it is not a fucking I don't know, fucking like oppression Olympics. Like I'm, man or woman. Like I think men would do a bit better. I guess I don't know because you hear horror stories from women too, but it's one thing to help somebody. I'm deficient in an area that you're good at, and I can learn something from you. But it is a whole different bag and I'm fucked up, and I'm fucked up regularly, and like my rhetoric is always of something that you need to help me with, and I don't think and that's something that I've even had to learn, especially like in this field, as growing in as like a therapist, of like how much it is to be like fuck. When the last time we talked that you just had some fucking funny shit? You know how many like I'll talk to you, I'll talk to Shard, I'll talk to my mom, and I'll be like, damn nigga, I laughed hearty. I ain't never laughed talking to this motherfucker. Jesus Christ, every time I talk to you, I gotta fucking like shouldn't even pay attention to that. We fuck around and you fuck around and kick it with a motherfucker all week and be like, damn, I ain't laughed in 7 days fucking with this motherfucker. And that sounds real small, but like that's important. I feel like we build, even when it's friendships, like we build all of our ships up on fucking, how good they endure in a sea battle. Do we have all the fucking do we have all the cannons? Do we got all that? Hey man, 90% of the time you're just gonna be fucking sailing on this bitch. Is it comfortable? Are the planks on this bitch good enough to stand in? Can you actually twist? Do you have to fucking put your whole body weight to turn this goddamn wheel? If all that shit's fucked up, if your sails got holes in, I don't give a fuck how many fucking cannons you got on this bitch. If I'm only good for fucking battle, And nigga, we go ahead and wrap this shit up. And I think I don't know that's got to be a better emphasis, and that's full circle back to why the intentionals and all those shits are bad because it gives people, in my opinion, too much room to fall through the cracks about what an issue is or how to really solve it or how to be faced with whatever it is that your bullshit that you bring in. If I call, like, nigga, I watch Lord of the Rings. If I start speaking in Elvish, it sounds sexy as hell. Nobody know what the fuck the problem is. You're not intentional, nigga. You're fucking arrogant, or you're selfish, or you're, you know what I'm saying? I'm a real quiet, reserved man. You don't know how to express your feelings, Darrell. You are not a quiet nigga. You are stunted in how you in your vocabulary. You feel a variety of things. And I think that like I don't know if this is where I will like finish or where it'll be my population. I say that a lot, but the benefit of working with kids is to watch an individual have all the things that we have as an adult and what it looks like to have a motherfucker just dog. I got some shit in this bitch churning. I don't know how to fucking get it out. And these behaviors now with the kids, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna kick the ball or cry, or you might, the motherfuckers get quiet and reserved. But as a grown adult who's got all the fucking mental functions, more or less, nigga, that's all these fucking behaviors that we call self-help, and it's just different ways to mask and hide shit. And whatever the fuck that is, that shit go from a fist size to a boulder size to a goddamn shit. You got an SUV's worth of bullshit on your back, and you carry that shit with everybody else, and then that turns into those things turn into your standards. Or I'm at a time in my life, nigga, shut up. You're at a time in your life where you need to go to therapy. That's that's where you at. The time is
Yeah. I mean, you're using the analogy to explain that how we do it in work is important, or at least the emphasis for us in the field as individuals, you and I, but just therapists or mental health workers in general, especially Black ones, especially Black male ones, because we have to do this shit for work. And that's laborious emotionally within itself. I don't want to do the same shit in my personal relationships. So it's like, I can recognize, I have the ability to lift this. I lift it every day. It's my profession. I get paid to lift this. You think I want to come home or in my personal life and do the same kind of lifting? When do I get a break? That's how people get burnt out, right?
hmm
Repetition is cool, but there are certain types of repetition that can build and strengthen you, and there's certain types of repetition that are deteriorating you faster than normal. You have to figure out which one is which. So I appreciate you using the analogy explaining how we can recognize it and deal with it in work to encourage us of like, yeah, we do have to be a little bit more selective about who we give our time, energy, and attention to professionally, personally, romantically, familially, any other lead that you want to throw on there. Because I don't want to live the same way that I've chosen to work.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and I guess I think doing this, you sometimes figure out in the moment how much conditioning or how much these things have an effect or have left a scar impact on you. Because you be sitting there in the moment, it's like I've had this personal experience. You'd be like, damn. Because you be sitting there with a client and y'all might have, I don't know how everybody feels like the therapy like the situation works, but you might be on session 4, 5, and that's the moment it said, damn, you said that shit first session when I was trying to build rapport. I wasn't really trying to like probe and getting your shit real quick, but you might catch it more in session as opposed to you might be fucking with somebody for a minute and then it's like, damn, it just kind of hit. And maybe this was when burnout hits, or you might be a little fed up, or you might just be more clear, whatever clear, however you get to this moment in clarity. And it's like, yo, every fucking time we talk, damn nigga, you ain't said no jokes, we ain't said no fucking whatever. And we didn't cover this, and like you said, how laborious that is, because for me it puts you in the space of like, and I hear like certain little pods where niggas get to this point and how to traverse this idea of like if you have some of that provider rhetoric in there, you are hardwired to like, and this is socially, don't y'all go around saying God put you, shut the fuck up. Um, you're hardwired to be like, oh, you've been presenting me with an issue. Okay, maybe I'll put in a solution. Okay, don't do the solution thing. I carry it with me. And I was like, we've done this, you know, back to back to back to back to back, and put motherfuckers in spaces, especially us as a community who doesn't fully know how to like always understand or traverse how we feel. And it's like I can stay here as a robot, hollow, and not give a fuck, so you can vent without solution. Or I give myself to the burden of like, God damn, here we go again. Let me fix it. God damn, here we go again. Let me fix it. And I guess niggas being aware of that loop so you can put in things to fix it. You can set a boundary or you can highlight to this motherfucker like, hey man, we're not really in like a relationship. I'm your janitor at this point. And what the fuck does that look like? And yes, sister girl, what about the you too? If this is for you, God damn it, this is gender neutral. So wrap it up. Don't I'm making a point. Don't fucking what the fuck up out of that shit. I think I don't know. I feel like that's it. I feel like we gave y'all a good one today. Um, I used to have an ender. I used to have a wrap up, but I felt anytime okay, this is it. This is it. I feel like platforms, pods, whoever would do good. I think, okay, granted, I feel like they all have like, lists. Some days we have a list. Today we had like a rough outline. But when this motherfucker pufs, you can stop. I just felt it. I felt myself reaching for an idea that wasn't there. And that's how you get up here saying fucking dumb shit. I don't have nothing else in here. I'm finna cut this off and then that's it. And thank you for listening. And I think every fucking body on the internet would benefit from that. As soon as you go, I lost it, you don't have to say nothing else. You can just say I lost it. That's what just happened. This right here is just me explaining that there's nothing up in this motherfucker no more, and we're done for the day. You don't have to say nothing else. You don't have to, because that's I feel like a lot of stupid shit would not be said if you just once you don't got it up there, you just say I don't got it up here. Take that with you. Put that up your ass and take it for life.
Per usual, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on the other side of the spectrum, or at least the other perspective. We have a job because people can't do that.
Yeah.
Like most people are the opposite because they so used to being overstimulated. They don't have a pew. They always got something going, including the dumb shit, and they ain't sifting out what's dumb shit, what's necessary. Like they're not slowing down. So since they don't slow down, they don't recognize when there's an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm gonna just stop right here. No regulation, no self-control, no none of that. But thank y'all, job security for us. So continue, but just get better at it, I guess.
That's how you get them stupid ass read that again. No, I'm ready to fight because it was stupid the first time I read it. It's the motherfucker like,
And
oh,
why are you trying to convince me on the dumb shit? Like I didn't read what I read the first
I
time.
read it again. Meet me in the town square with your fucking dukes up. That's yeah.
Fist fisticuffs at
Yeah,
noon.
yeah. Real back of the hands too, all right?
Yeah,
Like a fucking O'Malley, nigga. Finna give you the one tour. Right in the kisser, man. Anyways, thanks for listening. Um, and I don't know, man, we're gonna do more stuff. We always say we're gonna do more stuff. And we did more stuff.
we doing more stuff.
Mm. So we're gonna do more stuff.
So
More things,
okay.
more life. Okay, goodbye.